We're convened.
Got that, Kim?
Let the cameras roll. Okay, good to see everybody on a nice nippy evening.
We have this.
What's that?
She asked if we were recording. I said we got all the stuff.
Yep,
Now we're recording.
okay, now we're recording, good. This is our first of our budget review series meetings, so we'll have a lot of guests passing through. Hopefully, everybody is quick and concise. Yay, that's our favorite. So we'll start off with the minutes from February 12th, which Pete so kindly published and circulated. Do I have a motion?
Motion to accept.
Do I have a second? Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, cranking right along. Okay, so we'll start the budget and capital reviews in a few minutes, but a couple of provisos. We were expecting to have the detailed line item budgets by now, but unfortunately Carter was unable to get those done in time. Might have had something to do with his 2.5-week vacation right after our last meeting. He has promised that we will have them next Friday. So we'll have those details. What he did tell me is that from the preview that he gave us the last time we were together with him, he said the numbers really haven't changed a lot. However, what we didn't get into a great deal of detail on this. Apparently, the differences between the hard asks and the actual budget is about 300 to 400K. So he has been going to department heads, I'm sure Kim will tell us this as well, that you're gonna get some cuts, but he can't say what those are. So what we're seeing is it's gonna be kind of preliminary reviews. There'll probably be a round of pain that we'll have to deal with and discuss, impact on services and the like later. But take that as an update for the time being. So, the operating budget discussions will be preliminary. Fortunately, both Kim and Michael had their budget segments that they forwarded. I did not get a budget segment from the Chief Sadowski. Another point I just wanted to share with everyone, Don has not been ignoring us. I had made certain assumptions that our last town administrator added him to the FinCom circulation list. I should not have assumed that.
No, I was ignoring.
Don't go there.
My fault, I let him
Well, he'll
in.
fit right in.
I just gave you get out of jail free card and you're giving it back. So it's great to have Don actually participating with us. So I think you've met everybody now that you said hi to Mark. Have you met everybody else?
Chris Bergland. Good to meet you. I'll have to write it all down. Don't worry about it. You're all sworn in, right?
So, it's in the minutes. Just look at the minutes, you'll know.
I'm not sworn in yet, no.
You're not sworn in.
Oh, you're not?
Okay, well, you will be a guest for the evening then.
Yeah. So
Wait, did
just,
you vote on the minutes?
it's very simple. Just go to the town clerk and 2
Our
seconds.
clerk is excellent. He will revise and advise.
I have been reporting him as an absent member in the last few minutes.
Well, we're gonna have to talk to the clerk about accuracy then.
Anyway, okay.
All right, so I don't see any reason to delay. Kim, if you're ready, why don't you come on down? Does anyone have any issues, questions, or requests before we get started?
Your last name is
Maskey,
Maskey.
M-A-S-C-H-I, yeah,
M-A-S-C-H-I.
C-H-I.
Thank you.
Okay, and Kim, why don't we start off with your capital, if you don't mind?
Okay.
If I can actually find the directory.
Senior Center, the security.
Okay, well, you have one senior center capital request. Why don't you talk to us about that? I will say from my perspective, I really want to understand what you have to do now for access and what this will allow you to do. And I know we've been pressing upon you an interest in renting out the senior center to functions and events. So if you can kind of talk through all of that for us, that'd be great.
Sure. So from a volunteer staff or a potential renter's point of view, getting into the locked building can be an issue. We have a keypad on the front and back entrance, but it does not accept codes. You need to have a very expensive fob in order to get into the building. Those fobs to replace, I have tried. I've worked with Ockers. I've tried various different fobs, buying them, returning them when they didn't work. It looks like we would have to go specifically through Ockers at $85 per fob, which that's too much money. And there's like a minimum that you have to buy as well. They're not a secure way either. I would rather have a 4 to 6 digit code that is specific to a person. They punch in the code and the door can unlock for them. That's one of my main goals, is being able to track people entering the building and having it not be an archaic key system either, a key in the lock and turning. That's pretty much where we're functioning from, is giving a renter a key for the time being that they're in there, making sure that the key is returned. Doing the fob system, the fobs sometimes don't work. So also for this request, I would like, as I live in Holden and can't get there, right away. If somebody's there renting and can't get into the building, I could go on my phone and enter in a code and gain them access. There's also security that I had questions about, windows and the doors left ajar or anything like that can happen. I also wanted to be alerted if that happened, and everybody on my board to be alerted if something like that happened as well.
How would you know if windows are open? Is this going to be connected to all the windows as well?
So that was one discussion I had with Chuck Goss. Is a little bit more knowledgeable than I am when it comes to. I tried to get quotes on my own, and they wanted to know a lot of things that I just don't know about building structures. So I really rely on Chuck and even Chris Ruccio too, my chair. Basically, I would like the opportunity to know if windows were open. Anybody can open up a window, and as much as we try to make sure that everything, every room, every little nook and cranny is safe and secure, I would love that extra security, just for myself too, being like, okay, my senior center, it is good, it's secure, it's safe, it's locked up type.
Okay, so the expectation is all the windows are going to be included in this system.
So that was one of the things where when Chuck was talking to Warren Security, which is the one quote that he was able to get, they said adding the windows would be a lot more expensive. So then my thought was, what if we just did some of the windows that are routinely opened due to high heat, and that's the kitchen. So I just, kitchen windows, get those under some sort of alarm system. There's 3 of them there, 2 of them are opened routinely because it can get very hot in the kitchen, and then go from there.
So there's currently no intrusion or access control system in this building?
No.
Well, it just
We have
one,
cameras,
it's just not
we have
functional.
cameras, we have, I like to be proactive, not reactive. I don't want there to be, what happened here? I have to go through the cameras. I want it to be, there's never going to be a what happened here. I want to make sure that I know who's in the building, what's going on in the building, and just have a more secured building.
Okay. So, talk to us about your successes in renting the building and what you expect that to look like going forward.
Yay! Okay, so I just made this new thing, but I didn't send it out or anything. But it's got a graph and everything. Look at that.
And you
Okay.
didn't send it out?
No, well, I did this just real quick. Carter has it, so.
If you didn't send it out, you don't get credit.
Stop! You can make copy. Hi, Mike.
Mike, bring me
Okay.
copies for.
I know.
Seriously, if you would send it along to everyone.
Oh, of
that would-
course I will. Yes, I just did this. Just
Okay.
did it before I came here. Okay, I'm so excited. Okay, so what I did was I looked back to, I went all the way back to fiscal year 2021, no rentals. Then, if you can see, I don't know if you can see this little line, how it goes up like that. That's good stuff. Okay,
I like
so then.
lines that go up.
Okay, so $80 in fiscal year 2022. Then it went to $620 in 23, $710 in 2024. And then I started, I kind of highlighted, like Kim Maskey started here. And then 2010, last fiscal year. So far this fiscal year, we have 3,870. So how do I project what next year's gonna look like? I don't really know how to do that. But okay, so this is what I did. We have 4 months remaining in this fiscal year. I know of a wedding, a birthday, a lunch, a routine renter, the Legion, so on and so forth. So I calculated 2,420 to be left coming in to this year to total 6,290. And then if you take the difference between last fiscal year and this, and you add it on, my projection is 10,570 for next year.
I feel a need to applaud.
Okay, thank you.
No, that's great, seriously.
Okay, okay.
All of your efforts along those lines. So, what happens if you don't get this system?
I keep trucking along like I do. It's a little bit more stress on me. It's a little bit more, wondering what's going on. Are they in? I have to give out my cell phone number to the renters. I, usually let people know, hey, I know you live right down the street. Like Pat Barry, I'm like, hey, you live right down the street. If something happens, can you talk to this person? Because Pat knows everybody, so usually she knows the renter somehow. So I do that sometimes. I have to pull in more people to kind of be backup to me if something goes wrong. So it makes me feel less secure. And I want to rent out the facility. I want to be doing this. I think it's a beautiful building. And if we can do this, fantastic. I would just really like to be able to give people a code that can expire at a certain time. They don't have to worry about a key or almost $100 fob, and they can go in, rent the place, and if those particular windows are open, I know that when I go home at night, no, they're definitely shut, or else it would be alarming on my phone right now. There's just certain things that security, and again, I'm just trying to be proactive. I don't want anything to happen. I don't want, somebody to get locked out
I don't know.
when they just gave us a check to rent the building. That's the last thing I want, because then I lose trust, and I don't want to do that either.
Sure.
It isn't just that. It's like if you have to leave and somebody has to lock the building, we play the game with the keys.
We play the game with the keys, too. Yes, Mary knows.
You know the game of the keys?
I do. I've played the game with the keys.
You know? Okay, I'm going to
With
give
toddlers, on a little plastic ring.
Is there an updated cost to the system?
so
Based on the kitchen windows, I guess, that's what you're saying?
not with the kitchen windows, because I've been thinking about this for a while, like what would make the most sense. And the more renters that I have, the more I learn. The more hours spent in the senior center, the more I learn. So we haven't added on the windows yet, but so far the same invoice is what we have. And that's at least something I'm willing to work with.
That number is?
So, yeah, because I think you requested 30,000 originally for the, in the original capital request, but it looks like it's more like 14,000?
It looks like it's about half of that.
Okay.
And again, you can ask me questions about this, but without Chuck or somebody knowledgeable about security systems, there's only so much I can say. I have no idea what half these words mean, right? Sounds great. Electronic door hardware, get that. But it looks like the total would be 6 plus 4, maybe even,
Six-
10.
But
and-
it would be
yeah.
more than that, because I think it's like 6 grand, yeah, 4 grand, and, but then
Six,
you've got to buy the fobs and all that sort of stuff, and then monitoring, I don't think you have that
Well, I'm
now.
hoping not to have fobs.
Yes,
I want
fob
the
free.
keypad, like
Oh,
what we
keep
have
that,
here.
okay, because that was one of the things.
That's,
that
I
they-
don't wanna,
Okay,
I don't wanna deal with fobs.
okay.
People lose funds.
Okay, so
Okay.
how are you gonna firm up the actual figure, and when do you think you'll have one?
When I reached out to 3 other companies. Only one got back to me, and it's we're gonna push out even coming to your building for 3 months. I really feel like we would need Chuck in this conversation to be able to give us more information on what this would take. We've even tried to contact the current system that we have and see if they can do it. I asked them the last time that they were coming in to kind of fix what was broken with our system, and they said that there was no way to change their own system that's already established. Like, that's their system, that's what they have, it's the fobs, it's this. So I don't have a good timeline. Chris Ruccio is also working on this, trying to get some quotes. It's a little bit more difficult than I expected for something that's 2 keypads, access on phone, I think too, is something a little bit more new than what our system is currently.
Chris?
Yeah, thanks. So just, I know there's some monitoring that goes in there too. It's, between, there's a license fee that's, I think, $300 a year, and then another 800 or so bucks a year for monitoring, monthly monitoring. Is that in addition to what you have now, or is that something that you're not paying for now, do you know?
I
mean,
don't, yeah,
You don't think you pay for any of that now?
no.
So that would be an additional in your operating
Expense.
budget?
So you're
About
saying there's an
$1,000.
$800 a month monitoring fee?
A year.
A year?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and then a license fee, it's like $300 or something like that, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be some nice monitoring.
Yeah, no, but it's just.
We have a security guard now. That's what that would be.
Yeah, but that's just an additional, so you just might want to toss that into,
Now, have you
Operating budget.
contacted CN?
We did talk to them. That's kind of beyond their scope.
Okay, and it's just a VoIP-based outreach, or is it just straight phone call, or?
Face-to-face talk. If you would like me to
No, I'm
and
just-
see if I can get something from them.
So the town is eventually gonna be acquiring a new phone system,
Oh, yeah.
and it will probably be VoIP-based.
Oh, okay.
And just, we don't want to be buying something that's not gonna be compatible with what we know is happening next. So
That makes
I would
sense to
really
me.
wanna hear about compatibility with VoIP, and what would they charge if we switch over to that.
Okay.
Now, I don't know when that is likely to happen. I'd say definitely less than 10 years, maybe less than a few years, but it's on hold at the moment until they figure out what they really want for the town as a whole.
Okay. I thought it was going.
We don't have standard physical security systems for all of our town buildings?
We have the police department.
The door's locked.
It's been a big thing we've talked about and tried to push, is like standardization of, elevator inspections and, all the different inspectional services. And I think Chuck was working towards that, Chuck Goss was kind of working towards that, trying to get things standardized across the different buildings. But yeah, up until now, yeah, it's amazing.
But can I just say, the key game I want to explain the key game. So one day Kim had to leave and I locked up, but then the next month she only had keys. So the Girl Scouts rent it. Vanessa comes in and picks up the key the afternoon she's renting it, and in the morning she's gonna bring the key back.
Yeah.
So that's the key game.
It's a little inconvenient too. It's luckily, you know, you can't copy that key. It's one of those keys. It's just, it's not the way I would like to have this process go, really.
I think board members need the exercise myself.
What else you get to do? Gee,
Mary does everything.
I go skiing.
So we would need an updated quote for the windows pretty soon in order to make it in time. If there isn't one, assume you wanna move forward with the 10 to 14,000 request for just the doors.
Yes.
Yes, Mark?
One point would be if you don't do the windows now, make sure that whatever system we get on the same compatibility
Can add.
idea, you can build it into what you're thinking about.
Okay.
Just for preparation, so we don't undo something we do.
That
Hey,
makes
Kim,
sense.
this is your first cycle through, so for your benefit, the capital committee that looks at all of the capital requests has a minimum threshold on its account of $20,000. So if it's a capital request, it needs to be over that. If it's under 20,000, then it has to come out of raise and appropriate in some fashion.
Okay.
So just something to bear in mind as far as where we end up with all of this. But we have a new timeline as far as the warrant closure. So we just pull that up quickly. But I would say within 3 weeks, we'd really need to hear what your number is.
3 weeks?
Yeah.
And the 10 to 14,000 is just the access control. It has nothing to do with the alarm system.
It's the access control. I think it all ties together.
Yeah, the monitoring-
Cellular communicator security system. So it's in two parts. You've got the 3,850 that has the cellular security system, and then the 5,000, I believe, is the just not the cellular security system. The rest of the door access, control server,
Keypad.
the keypad, the no need for the fobs.
It looked like one's installation and one's the stuff.
Yeah,
Arts
yeah,
and-
that's gotta
Motion
be it.
detectors, are they putting motion detectors in? Like, what are they based on?
No,
Motion
no motion detectors, no.
It's just doors.
Contacts on the doors,
Just-
Yes, yes,
2 doors.
yes.
Yeah, and at this juncture, it's probably worth getting a quote for the 3 windows you care about
Yeah.
and for all of them.
That's what I wrote, yeah, okay.
The differences
Get
are-
quote, yeah. Windows in kitchen ×3, and then with all.
I say, my personal biggest concern is compatibility with a new phone system, and is that gonna cause any
And then,
issues?
okay, compatibility
Who's leading that? Like, who would,
I don't know.
with
is it the light plant?
system, oh, there's this.
It involves a light plant, but honestly,
Okay.
I don't know who's got lead on it.
Okay.
As, there have been requests that have been taken back for new phone systems because we were thinking of doing a single phone system for the whole town. Yeah, I don't know who's at lead. I know, Michael, you had a new phone system on your capital list at one point, right?
Yes, we still need a new phone system.
So, maybe in your own vested self-interest, you could find out who's actually looking at that.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's John Fitch, but not 100%, so I can look into it.
It'd be good to know. Okay, any other questions for Kim on her capital request? Okay, it's time for operating budget.
Yay.
Which one are we looking at here?
Mine and Mary's green page.
Just the one
They're
yesterday?
color coded out.
I'm assuming it's one with
So
the
Mary's got
handwritten
all the
notes on
colored
it?
pages.
No, that was the one I sent around.
Is
That's
it the
not it.
worksheet?
Oh, there's another one?
Did you send around a new one today, Mary? You said, Kim, I'm sorry.
I did not send it to you.
You didn't send it to us. Okay, so the one.
Because I
so-
just did it before I came.
Okay.
Okay,
So it's
well,
not part of your
Well,
big spreadsheet?
we met with Carter. yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. So I'm just lucky I got it done.
So so I think it was revised 2.5, senior center revised 2.5.
It was an easy, yes, revised,
Oh,
yes.
that's 2.5,
And then whatever I changed today
Where did that come
is,
from? That the one you sent out today, Chris?
I sent it out today, yeah, I think I sent a couple of them today. but- but-
179,724?
That's what I have, yeah, 179,724, that's the one we were looking. That's
Okay,
the last one I had.
You sent one today. Oh, got it.
yeah, so we all have it.
so there's one change that I made today. And that this was after my meeting with Carter. It's the salary. And then some little typos and, you know. So the rental part we went over. The staff,
The rental part. as a-
the, what goes into, because everything that we do for rentals goes into the general fund. So it doesn't come back to the senior
Right.
center, it goes
Right.
to general fund. But I think I gave you, you know, what we're projected to make this year and then what I think that we'll make next. So one thing that Carter asked me to revise was the my request for 19 hours for a custodian. We are doing so much in the center. It's
What, 10 now?
well, she's at 10 now. And it's not easy. When I said I was also cleaning, that didn't make Carter happy. That doesn't make a lot of people happy. It's just, it needs to get done. And with the janitor having 10 hours, she can get to this needs to happen. Trash, bathrooms, trying to keep the floor somewhat a floor. I got a quote from Enterprise, and without doing any of the smaller offices or smaller areas, it was 4 times as much as it would cost for my custodian to do this. And they were like, this is gonna take way over 19 hours. So I brought this up to Carter, tough conversation, and then he told me to basically go for 15. Something, you know, I mean, at least then I feel like I could probably take a step back in a lot of capacity of doing the cleaning here and there as well. That knocks down $7,000 from the part-time employees for our salaries line.
So the 149 goes down to 142?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was the one change that I've made from this budget after my meeting.
Reluctantly.
I'll send my new one over. So that's the salaries. That's the only thing that's really different here. Would you like me to go over purchase services next, or do you have any questions about the salaries?
Anyone? Purchase services?
Did you clear up like steps? Because I know that was a concern when we met.
Yeah, we don't have anything coming
Nothing
up.
with
Yeah,
that,
we're
because they're
good.
all fairly new. so.
I mean, we are what we are.
Good for now, wait until next year, right?
Next year's, yeah, because everybody was hired
At the same time.
all at once.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be in every 2 years going to be a slam, which Mike knows all about.
As of, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Purchase services is very, these are the things to make the building run. It is telephone, gas, internet, lights, water, sewer. All I did was just add it all up, find the average, add that in, and then see what it is this fiscal year and see the difference, and we saw a 7.7% increase. So I added that to the budget. The one outlier that will have to come under my budget is the CRF partition maintenance contract. We have a big dividing wall that they need to check once a year, so there are no accidents. So that's $700, the quote's in my budget as well. So that would equal $26,767.
The building has a $9,900 maintenance line item.
Yes,
That's,
You
I don't see
didn't
that.
include it, you didn't include it.
it's not
so-
included.
Because,
No.
I guess, what we had heard was that Chuck
pulled that out and had his own budget at this point.
Oh, is that right?
That's what we
Yeah,
heard.
so I think that's
So
what-
building repairs and maintenance. The partition does not fall under his maintenance. That's our maintenance.
Okay.
So he's got that 9,900 budget on his own.
Okay. Questions on purchase services? Okay, sailing right along.
Cool. Supplies. There's like a whole page that goes over the increase of, and I brought newsletters if anybody wants it. They're really cute. So
I get it. That's all right.
basically, we went from a 12-page newsletter to a 16 this month because we have so many activities and renting out the facility. And the supplies budget is cleaning supplies, office supplies, the bare necessities, again, that it takes to kind of run our building. From Windex to Kleenex to Dawn dish soap to paper towels. That's this. I am asking for 1,179 increase, 1,300. That's 1,300 added from last year. Help with the supplies, toilet paper, paper towels, again, Dawn, Kleenex, sanitizer, so on and so forth. The things that make our senior center safe, clean, accessible, and just running.
And a lot of that's based on the increased
Increased usage and,
or the,
yeah.
and the more people coming through the doors. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, that'll teach you to have more activity.
How dare I?
People
anybody
aren't,
want a
people
newsletter?
aren't bringing their own toilet papers, you know. to put them on.
We worked so hard on
I
it.
put a lot of effort into it.
Yay! Look at the senior prom. How cute.
It was a high school prom, I was like, that's weird.
No, I know.
They rented it
So
to
we're
them?
like
Is that the
senior
latest
prom.
one? Okay.
Yeah, Don. You're welcome. Anybody else?
I get it.
I
Oh
get it.
yeah, you do. There you go.
I folded
You
them all
know
day
you fold
yesterday.
them.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, as you can see, we're just chock full of goodness now. You know, we have our calendar is so full, so fun, educational. We're televised. Come on down. We're having a great time. It does take a little bit more to do this.
Sure.
Yeah.
So activities that you have, how are they financed? Do you pay instructors out of fees or?
Okay,
How's
here
that
we
work,
go.
John?
We're going into grants. Okay. Let me get my grant form if I brought it. Come on, Kim, tell me you brought it. I can go by my head. Okay, so we get a formula grant. It is $16 from the census of everybody 60 and over. So that equals out to be $38,000. 50% of that is already going to our fitness and wellness classes. So that is, if you want me to, yoga, chair yoga, hatha yoga, tai chi, low impact fitness, Parkinson's disease exercise, fall prevention exercises, Zumba. All of these classes that are the most attended, besides our food and our lunches and things like that, are funded by the formula grant. This is so when our members come in, they don't have to pay $2, $3, $5 to go to every single class that they go to. That money can be spent for lunch. They can donate it as a gift to keep the coffee corner going, so on and so forth. So that half of the grant goes to just the fitness and the wellness. I would say about between 10% of that grant is also earmarked to keep things off the purchase services line. My MCOA dues are due every year. That can range between $600 and $900 for the Council on Aging, the Massachusetts Council on Aging. We have all the training that and my staff can get, from Serve Safe so we can run the kitchen, to a lot of other trainings that I really want to go for, that will be taken out of the grant as well. For educational programs, like a Judy Palkin, diet programs and things like how to basically be safe, how to know what scams are, how to get IT help. All of those things would probably be about 10 to 20% as well. And I have a lot of the rest of the grant for the what ifs. Intergenerational programs. Sometimes I can split that cost with the friends, because it can be kind of expensive to rent a bus to bring over 4th graders for a big veterans parade. It's wonderful. We want to do it. That's what I dive into that for. It's also great to have to avoid encumbrances and to just have that, oh no, I ran out of my supply budget and we need toilet paper. So I kind of go to that as well. So a lot of it is definitely earmarked and goes right back to supporting the seniors that come into those doors every single day, giving them exactly what they are asking me for, all of us for, and that is the teachers, the instructors, the programs.
So what I think I'm hearing is, between the grant and the fees you get for programs, none of your programming is coming out of your budget.
No.
Okay. That's really helpful for people to know. Hopefully people online are listening and hear that.
Oh, yeah, no, all of it's grant. And I the Friends group, phenomenal. They really go out there, they try to get donations, they're doing everything they can, and they have not told me no for something that a reenactor, anything educational, anything that could benefit our seniors. Their friends are fully helpful in funding that as well.
Okay.
Yes, hi Chris.
At one time, wasn't part of that grant used to fund the outreach staff? Was
I
it?
no. So I was the first outreach staff, and no, I did not see that in previous budgets.
Wasn't?
No.
Okay.
Another town does that.
Okay, I think that's
Yes.
what I heard. Okay, thanks.
Yep.
So maybe just a couple of minutes on the future. What do you see new and improved coming in the next couple of years?
Do you
Very
like
briefly.
money based or?
Just programming. What are you adding?
Oh, okay. I know that this is grade 6. I want more. We want to do more. We want to expand our hours. We want more programs. If we can get more staff, another outreach coordinator, that would be great. Anything that we can do to reach out to the community and bring people from West Boylston into our senior center, that's what I'm trying to do. I want to do more night activities. I want to do things. I'm trying to reach the people who are my age, and our parents are getting older, and we want to help them. We want to know, like, what are the things that we should do. I have Alex Wong, who comes in once a month at night to teach us about what ADUs are. You know, how, if somebody needs assisted living, what does that look like? I'm trying to branch out to everything. Working with Mike. Right? We're working. We're working together in tandem too. We're going to have future things to do together, hopefully. I want this building to be busy, well-used, well-loved, and just flourishing like it already is.
Great. Any other questions for Kim? Please.
I have a sort of a technology question. And, could you have like these kind of meetings? Do you have the hookup so that they could record the meetings up there in either the big room or the class? I guess they're called classrooms. Do you know, or could that be a future?
We have a PA system. We have a classroom, a small classroom. So we have a projector. That's about it in that room. And then the big multi-purpose room, the cafeteria, we have a PA system and a projector. As far as This goes, no, we don't have the ability, we have a lot of fishbowl cameras, is that what it is? Yeah,
Yep.
that's what,
But that's support for security.
and that's only for security. So, could we have the capability? Yeah, I mean, we can hook up a computer, we can, hook up a camera,
Yeah.
that's possible. But as of just turning a switch on and making it easy, no.
But it's not ready currently. I mean, that was a future use I could.
I think that's up to these guys
Yeah.
to do. I think that's on their budget.
I know
not
we've
on
had some
senior
meetings.
They've come before.
We've had meetings up there that they did record, and it was a commotion. Like, they had to bring cameras, and they had to bring their sound system, and they had to bring all
It's
their.
not,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not.
That's
Yep.
the
That's the
option that
method.
exists right now.
Okay.
But with enough advance notice, they handle it pretty well.
I think they've done that once before, it was fine.
Yep.
Works out just fine.
Okay, and I guess from my standpoint, publicly, I would like to say thank you for all of your efforts in revitalizing the senior center. I think it's
Yeah.
become a real dynamic hotspot in town, and credit to you and your staff.
Thank you. Yes, my staff is awesome. Yes.
They are awesome.
Yeah, they really are.
Good.
And my board. I'm sorry. I'm
Oh,
sorry,
wait a
Mary.
sec, you crossed the line.
Ah,
Can't stand it, huh, Tanya?
was that it? That wasn't scary at
That
all.
wasn't much of a grilling.
So,
Wait till next year.
No.
so for takeaways, if you can get us the capital updates, I did take a look at the calendar. A month would be fine.
Okay. I'll try.
You got some time.
I'll try to get on it as fast as I can.
Okay,
All right.
great.
Thank you.
Thank
Can
you.
I go
Thank-
home?
You may go home. You're dismissed, young lady.
Drive safely.
Good luck and nice.
Michael, please join us. So has everyone met Michael before, our library director? Do you know everybody?
See a lot of familiar faces.
Should we do a quick roll call for you?
Nice to meet you. I'm Mike. I'm the library director. Nice to meet you. We met before.
Yeah, thanks.
Everybody else is familiar.
Okay,
Hello.
Hello.
welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, now that we've done all the fun stuff, let's talk capital.
All right.
We'll start there, and then we can talk operating budget. So you have 4 submissions. EFS repairs, ramp replacement study, replace 3 AHU control systems, and the rubber roof repair. So if you want to walk us through those, I guess our group that's visited the library has offered some input, but this is your chance to advocate or tell us which ones you don't really need right
Okay.
now.
Sure.
Right, if you could we ask him to go in priority order, your priority order?
Absolutely.
Yes, we could do that. What she said.
Wonderful. So the library's top priority for FY27 capital would be the air handler control system replacement project, coming in at $25,000. Ever since the new boilers went in, we've been having constant issues with temperature control. The control systems for the air handlers are from the 1999 renovation of the building, so they have now reached end of life and are due for replacement. So what we're seeing with the air handlers is they're kind of just locked in a permanent position, so the amount of outside air that's being brought into the system is not reactive to the outside temperature. So it's just basically runaway heat inside the building, which is causing high utility bills for us. It's causing spaces to be too warm to be comfortable to use, and just run as possible so we can get the utility bills in order and get the building more comfortable again.
Well, it's been a particularly cold winter. You have any idea how much more your fuel is costing this year versus last?
It's about the same as last year, actually.
Really?
You just not open windows as much.
We haven't had to quite as much, no.
That's right, yeah, because I think that was one of the problems, right,
Yeah.
last year.
So because the runaway heat has actually been needed this year, I think that the bills aren't disproportionate since we've actually needed the heat. But in general, especially around the times that the seasons are changing, fall, spring, when we might have some days that are 30 degrees and then the next day can be 60 degrees, the building will just be 85 and still pumping heat. So those systems are definitely in need of replacement, and something we're hoping to do.
So that's a control system, that's not the air handler itself.
Right,
The air handler itself is adequate, the fan and housing
right, it's the control system.
is the control of the air handler.
And you have a firm quote for that?
I do. From CNC, it was $14,922 for the controls upgrade. That was part one of it, and then part two is the network controller, which would modernize the control system, put that on a computer for us. That way we can have better control over the heating, ventilation, air conditioning from our offices instead of having to run down to the boiler room or, run into the building on a day off to get better control over the systems.
Okay. Next priority.
Sorry.
So, next priority for us is going to be the roof seam repair. The library has a rubber roof on it, and the rubber roof membranes were due to be either replaced or have seam repair done in 2020. That work unfortunately didn't happen. There were just a number of delays caused by COVID, turnover in the direct position. Also had turnover in our roofing vendor as well. But we've now secured a new roofing vendor. They've on the roof. The membrane is in good condition, but the seams are in need of repair, so that's what they've recommended to us at this point. And that came in at the $12,000.
Okay, are you seeing leaks?
We had a very small leak in the skylight last fall. Not sure if it was related to the seams or not, but the rubber roof was due for repair work in 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, the pictures are kind of evident that you sent along, or that they had taken when they were up there. It seems to, I mean, I'm not a.
Seems to support the seam?
Seems to report new seams, yeah.
And those pictures are recent, they're not 2020.
Yeah, they were 2025. So those are the two that I have secured official quotes on that we're ready to move on. I also had two that I submitted for that I'm still working to gather information on. Not sure if we'll be ready to go this year, but I do want to make sure that it remains on the radar of the Finance Committee and Capital that the library's existing ramp is not compliant with ADA requirements. There are several areas where the slope is too steep, and the location of our ramp is uniquely challenging in that it's right next to our chiller pit. So kind of resloping that or reclaiming some space right there would be very complicated because a lot of our air conditioning equipment is located right there. So I think we're going to need to start planning on bringing in some kind of envelope study or architect to take a look at the existing Newton Street entrance and how that can be redesigned to make it more accessible. I don't have official quotes on that. When I had submitted that for the kind of 5-year capital plan, I had based the $30,000 on work done at another library, and haven't gone and gotten more information on that yet, but want to make sure it stays on the radar.
So that 30,000 was just for the study, right? And not for the actual?
Yep, that was the architectural study.
So the expected outcome is just a general design on how it'll get done?
Yes.
And then you'll hire an architect to actually design it? Okay. When do you think you'll have those numbers together?
I'm not quite sure, to be honest. I don't know if I could get it in a month. Generally, architects are not super responsive on that type of turnaround time in my experience, so I think we might have to hold off on this one, but I do want to make sure it stays on the radar.
Well, I'm not sure how proper it is, but the group that is doing the study for the DPW and the fire station might have a vested interest in responding to you quickly.
Okay, I can, do you have their info, or I
The
can
chief
reach
is
out
sitting in
tomorrow?
back of you, and I'm sure he'd be happy to share the names.
Thank you. And also wanted to call attention to the 1999 addition on the library was built using an EIFS material, and that material is showing some cracking and damage in some areas, and that is going to need to be patched as well. Looking through some of the records from my predecessor, she was looking to get that on a 5-year maintenance cycle, and I think that would be a wonderful idea, but the contractors that she was reaching out to, I tried to reach back out to and didn't have much response from yet. So need to find new contractors at this point, get new quotes.
But they were over 20,000, right? It was like 20,000 for the patching back 5 years ago. Thanks.
That would have been a comprehensive of what was going on at the library at that
And it
time.
hasn't gotten much better since that time.
It's certainly not gotten any better.
You've got all kinds of friends nesting in
We've got,
In between the walls there, right?
So we have a nature-friendly building facade?
Very,
That's
yes.
a nice way to say it.
Why
we
not?
officially have turtles as pets, and we unofficially have birds in the wall as
Yeah.
pets.
The Audubon Society is very proud of you guys.
Okay, so any questions for Michael regarding the capital items? It seems reasonably clear.
Yeah, I mean, you don't think that you'll have an EFS bid before, in the next 3 weeks or anything, right?
I don't anticipate
Okay,
having,
all right.
unfortunately.
So we should just assume at this point that these would be requests for next year?
Yes. The latter two that I
Yes.
presented would be for
Yeah.
next year.
Have there been any complaints about the ADA ramp compliance?
We have had a few ADA-related complaints about the ramp and other ongoing issues at the library as well that need to be addressed. We're still working through some of the items that were identified in the transition plan. And we've also just had some issues where we, as staff, have made some mistakes that we've needed to correct as well related to accessibility. Like moving furniture and bookcases that weren't quite compliant, things like that.
Okay, well, we all learn as we go.
Yes.
Okay, shall we talk operating budget?
Sure. So to just begin talking about the operating budget, I just wanted to provide a quick refresher on some of the requirements that are on us from the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners, or the MBLC. When it comes to funding, the big one on that is the municipal appropriation requirement, which is a look back at the previous 3 fiscal years, multiplied by 1.025, and our appropriation for the next fiscal year will need to meet or exceed that level. And if we fail to meet that appropriation, we would risk our certification. And if the West Boylston Library is ever to become decertified, that would put West Boylston residents at risk of losing library services statewide. You wouldn't be able to just pop over to Worcester or Shrewsbury and use those libraries if West Boylston became decertified. So remaining a certified library is critically important to a small library like ours, because that provides access to 59 million more materials than what we have room for in our building. So the proposed operating budget for FY27 is compliant with all of the MBLC funding requirements.
So, I don't know if you were here for some of the entry comments. We are aware that we met with Carter, and he said there's gonna be some cuts. He probably was not specific. Did you have this discussion with him as far as having an adequate foundation budget for these particular issues?
Not yesterday when we met, but I have mentioned it in my justification sheets on my budget request that I submitted. I defined the municipal appropriation requirement and certification. I make sure that's on everything I submit budget-wise, just so that it's right there, so no one can say they didn't see it. But I'll make sure that I have that conversation directly with Carter as well.
Okay. So is it still the case if there were cuts? And I'm not quite sure where he's gonna land on what happens next, but so long as the library is not singled out as a source of cuts, we can appeal, if we
Yeah,
get
so that-
support of select board and finance committee or something like that.
That would be disproportionate cuts, so we would have to be, our department's cut would have to be in line with what the other departments were cut with as well. So there would have to be kind of like, if it's 5% cut across the board, then we would be fine, but if it's library cut 15% and another department cut 2, that wouldn't really fly with the waivers.
Okay, so the waiver process still exists?
It does.
Okay.
And getting put on the waiver process does begin a 5-year process. You can't come off of the waiver right away. We would have to commit to showing growth to get off of the waiver process for the next 5 years if we ever went on it.
Okay. Appreciate that clarification. So, you're up. Let's talk budget.
So I will start with salaries, I suppose. Our salaries budget includes an assumed 2% cost of living adjustment for all staff. Also includes step increases for all staff that are due a step increase in FY27. Similar to what Kim is seeing at the senior center, a lot of our staff tends to start in either odd or even numbered years. And with the 2-year step increase cycle, that means we get hit a little bit harder on one year than on the other. And this is one of our harder hit years. adding no new positions or anything, it's just level service on the salaries, but with a 2% cost of living adjustment and the step increases. Are there any questions on salaries?
Just curious, how many full-time, how many part-time do you have right now?
Full-time is, by full-time, do you mean the over 19-hour definition that the town uses, or the 30-hour?
I assume over 30 hours for kind of normal world full-time?
We have 4 full-timers and the rest are all part-time.
How many part-timers?
6, 7.
Seven. Okay, thank you.
Moving over into purchase services, we do have an increase in our purchase services requests for this year. That's primarily driven by increases that we're seeing in our utility bills. I think everybody statewide is seeing increases in their utility bills, and the library is no different there, unfortunately. We did also see a small increase to our assessment and CW Mars membership, which is fantastic value. We're extremely happy to be a member of CW Mars, but our membership fee did increase a little bit as well. And then also just a little bit of an increase in unplanned building repairs that wouldn't come under that 9,900 capital, but still come out of purchase services. Things like if a faucet needs to be replaced or something like that. 2 years ago, just an example on the faucet, we 2 years ago paid one amount, and 2 weeks ago that had increased by 18% for the exact same work. So,
Sure, it's a small number. but
about $500
From,
13,000 roughly.
oh, okay,
So,
thank you.
for supplies, the library's supplies line has been level funded once again. We always make the most out of our Post-its, and we've got a pretty good stash going there, so no need to increase that request. The other expenses is representing the books and materials. That is another requirement by the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners, is a certain percentage of your budget must be spent on books and circulating materials. In West Boylston, that percentage is 16%, which comes out at the 85. I think that is a little bit, occasionally that is a little bit below where the materials expenditure requirement would be, but we're able to use state aid funding, Friends funding to close the gap and make sure we maintain our certification. And that is also assuming that we continue receiving the open hours accommodation, down a lower percentage because of the number of hours the library is open exceeds the minimum set by the state.
So, on that score, I know the Holy Cross installation was supposed to be funding you for a certain number of hours.
Yes.
Is that still the case? And
They
is
are
it
still funding 3 of our Saturday hours.
3 whole hours?
3 whole hours.
Oh, wow. Now, have to consider 4 whole hours or a 30 whole hours or anything
I
like
started that conversation with Holy Cross with our former town administrator, and there had been a little bit of interest in Holy Cross doing kind of an outreach event up at the Contemplative Prayer Center. Conversations would have continued building from there, and that just kind of never amounted to anything, unfortunately. We had a bit of a wall.
Okay, well,
I mean, 3 hours for the year, or 3
3
hours
hours
a Saturday?
a
Oh,
week.
all right, okay.
3 hours of the whole staff, like whoever's in?
Yes.
Okay.
And also contributes to the utilities for 3 of our Saturday hours as well.
It's actually less than the property was paying in real estate taxes
Oh,
when it
sure.
was a property, considerably less.
well, they're getting a great bargain. They should consider a rebate.
Or adjust, I think, and you about that, when we get the town administrator settled, we'll probably have that discussion. with
I think that
process.
is kind of the plan that I had as well, is
Yeah.
revisit that conversation.
Yeah, please.
When things are a little bit.
Lean
more
on
settled.
Mary's husband to, you know.
Sure.
yeah.
I already told him. Asked him nicely.
Nice. No, you told them. Okay.
And as mentioned by Kim, capital is now moving over to the facilities budget, so no request there.
Okay. So, as you look forward for the next few years, any particular challenges you see that concern you as far as budget is concerned?
I mean, the big thing for us right now is that our interest in programming and amount of programming that we're doing has really taken off. All of our programming, similar to the senior center, is funded by grants and our Friends group. But we're burning through the donations that are going to the Friends a lot quicker. So in previous years, when we would have been able to go to the Friends for a technology request, for example, I don't anticipate that they'll have that funding because they're now funding such a significant amount of our programs. From spring 2023 to spring 2026, we increased our number of programs by 58 programs, which is a 46% increase. So we are doing a lot more than we had been, but we're also relying on Friends funding a lot more than we were. So I think that we're going to be relying a lot more on our state aid funding that we previously hadn't spent for things like programming, things like technology upgrades that are not part of our regular budget request.
Okay. So, just open up general questions. Anyone have questions regarding their operating budget?
I know you were kind enough to give to us when we met that brochure on grants through the state.
Yes.
Just, do you, I mean, how do you use that, and I guess is there
Yeah, that's a great grant. Our state aid is approximately $25,000 a year. In FY '26, 8,000 of that went to a new copier, 10,000 of that went to new computers for staff and patrons. 2,500 has been spent on professional development. 1,000 of that was used to fund our mobile hotspot program, and the rest is going to our public programs.
no opportunity for really more growth in that at this point? I mean, that's a good chunk of change. I mean, so I just thought I'd ask, because I know you do use that, and I think that's important.
We do use that for a significant amount. That's pretty much our entire technology budget. I already know next year I'm looking at needing to replace all of our Wi-Fi access points, and I'm already planning on using state aid funding for that.
Thanks.
Yeah, actually, Chris and I had both listened to a seminar on a company that offers free screening of state and federal grants.
Okay.
Might be worth you taking a look at those.
Okay.
Do I remember the name offhand? No. Chris, do you remember?
I don't remember the name of it. I got it at home though, because I did save.
You can email it to me.
If I could get my computer to open up, I'll, yeah. Yeah.
Well,
It was
if you
good.
can
I'll
send it
forward-
over,
I'll forward it to you.
if you can't access it, let me know. I'm
Yeah.
sure I can dig it up.
I'll forward it to you. I know I've got it somewhere.
But-
I'm sure the chief back there is the grant writer for the town anyway, right?
He's the king of them, though.
Yeah, he's the king.
Lots of success.
But I do anticipate that we'll be relying more on grants in the next couple of years because we're just doing so much more with programming that we're gonna have to find a way to pay for those, so.
Okay. Anything else you want us to hear before we wrap up?
You should have all received your Beaman browser in your mailboxes in the last week. If you didn't read that, please read it. I'm copying Kim on the marketing plug last second, so please read your Beaman browser. Sign up for the library events. We hope to see you all over there, and to anybody watching at home, that goes to you as well. Please come on down and visit us at the library.
Very good.
Great.
Thank you.
Mark?
I just had a question about the capital.
Yeah.
Are you saying that really the capital requests are just the first two, the roof and the other one? So 25 and 12, I think it was?
Yes.
About what it was, okay. And then, how is your library of things? I've always been an advocate for library of things.
Still expanding. We're struggling with storage space for the library of things at
Yeah.
this point. We've started adding some items, and we really don't have a good place on the shelves to keep them, so
Yeah.
right now a lot of them are kind of living in the corner of my office.
Okay, good.
We're gonna have to figure out the storage and display situation, but the collection is expanding a little bit every day. When we launched it, we had to focus on yard games, things that are fun. We have a pickleball set, various things like that. And then this year, I know we're planning on adding things like a check engine light reader for cars, maybe the thing to pump air into your tires, various things like that. The idea is things that people need maybe once or twice a year. That way they won't have to purchase it. They can just borrow it from us for a week and then bring it on back.
And then,
For what it's worth, that is part of the, it's not CW Mars per se, but there's a
you can
program
borrow
you
from
can
other
go to
libraries.
any-
I wanted it at our library.
well, I'm sorry, you might have to travel all the way to Boylston.
And then I'll offer that my granddaughter loves the turtles.
Okay. Michael, thank you very much.
Thank you.
To you and your staff. Obviously, library has a great reputation in the area, and a lot of people take good advantage of it, so
Thank
keep
you.
it up.
And if you guys have any questions or anything, please reach out at any time.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. We are just screaming along tonight. Chief, are you ready?
Twice in a day, Ray, I'm blessed.
You know, you should smile when you say that.
I am, what?
That was an evil grin, I think.
No. That's the same smile he has when he comes to lunch at the senior center.
Right?
You haven't been in a few weeks, though.
Yeah, my schedule has been off the charts. We've been getting crushed lately, so
I'm like eager to be 55.
been a very busy, very cold winter
Can't wait to be
season.
55 now.
What do you have to do?
I said I can't wait to be 55 now.
You can come up for lunch.
Oh, okay.
Anybody can go up for lunch.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
My entire staff goes up there when they're not out on calls for lunch on Wednesdays.
Okay.
Yeah, Faye comes up from the police department.
Yeah.
Acting police chief was up yesterday.
Just on Wednesday, the one with
Just
the
on
nice
Wednesday.
menu. All
I
right.
went last Friday. They've, surprise lunch on Friday.
Surprise lunch?
Well, it's kind of, they just announce it Friday, whatever they have. It's,
Leftovers.
it wasn't leftovers.
That's what I had tonight.
All right, Chief, as with everybody else, we've been taking capital first, so let's do that for you as well.
Okay.
Have you had a chance to talk with Carter?
I did, I met with Carter yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he has informed us that he's gone over budgets with everyone and said, you can't have everything,
Yep.
and there's gonna be some cuts, and
Sure.
he's gotta figure out what those are. So, I don't know if you've had anything more specific with him that you're able to share? but-
No, there was nothing particular. We went over capital, we went over operating budget, and he gave me basically the same speech of that, and then he and I are meeting again to go over everything for a second round after that. So, and I told him I was gonna be here tonight, so.
Okay. All right, so capital, let's talk.
Capital, sure. So I have 3 items on there for this year. One of them, well, 2 of them are exceptionally large items, and we've done our best to try to stay away from the town's capital for the last few years with any big purchases. And so, you know, unfortunately, it wasn't avoidable indefinitely. So the first item that we're looking at is to replace our 1998 Smeal Spartan 75-foot ladder truck. The current replacement value, and sit down for this one, it's approximately $1.7 million for the truck itself, and then we're requesting another $100,000 in equipment to outfit it. So it's a total ask of $1.8 million. So as you may be aware, there is a lot of things going on in the emergency vehicle and apparatus industry right now. The corporation called the Rev Group has purchased most of the smaller and mid-size and even some of the large fire apparatus manufacturers. And not to say that they hold a monopoly, but they certainly hold a majority share of all production of emergency vehicles. That coupled with the automotive manufacturers doing limited production of spec vehicles that we've seen for the last few years, causing a lot of delays, is compounding that problem. So as you've seen in the last couple of years with my presentations for ambulances, it's about 2 years to get an ambulance, and they're about $500,000 a piece right now. The engines are almost $1 million a piece, and they're 2 to 3 years to get, and ladder trucks are now pushing $2 million and more, depending on what you get, and they're 3 to 4 years production time. So it's unprecedented. The Fire Chiefs Association, nationally and internationally, as well as the firefighters organizations, are taking suit against Rev Group and doing an antitrust claim against them. I don't know where that's gonna go and how that's gonna play out in the long term, but unfortunately, there's nothing that's really speeding up our production right now with getting stuff. The truck we're looking to replace, again, it's a 1998. The NFPA recommendations for frontline apparatus is 15-year replacement time, 20 years if it's a reserve piece. We don't have any reserve pieces, but obviously we don't get the wear and tear. These are industry standards. These are right across the board for all departments. So you're comparing FDNY to, you know, a little podunk town. We all have to adhere to the same standards. So our trucks we keep a little bit longer because them, and what this truck is with the truck, which is the biggest impact to us, is being able to provide service to the community. We only have one ladder truck. Right now, Clinton's ladder truck is out of service, so we're covering 2 towns with our ladder truck, so luckily ours is in service right now. From November until February, ours was out of service. There was a problem with the hydraulics system on the aerial. It was at the dealership. They were working on it, changing parts, working on it. They finally figured out what the problem was after 3 months and $10,000 worth of repairs. This is after, in 2022, just prior to my starting here, we invested $100,000 of ARPA money into doing some repairs on this truck to get rid of old dry rotted hydraulic hoses, to have the brakes, the springs, the suspension redone, new brakes and tires, new battery. We had several no-start issues with it in the following years. So we've replaced battery, start, you know, it's an old truck. It's a very old vehicle. It looks nice from the outside because we wash it all the time. It has some rust and rot, you know, but it's not super apparent. But at the end of the day, it's a 30-year-old truck. And unfortunately, they're having a hard time sourcing parts for it. You know, we do the best we can to maintain it and keep it on the road, but we're having so many reliability issues with it. You know, it's only a matter of time before we have either a catastrophic failure with somebody on it, or it doesn't make it to a call. And so unfortunately, we're at that point where we need to take action to replace the vehicle.
So riddle me this, with a 4-year lead time, if it breaks down next month, what are you gonna do?
We're up the creek. That's why this is one of those things that it had been, because we had invested so much money in it just a few years ago, we were trying to buy more time, but really we're coming to the end of that time. When it breaks and it can't be repaired anymore, we are out of service and reliant on other communities to send us a ladder truck. We already have Sterling's ladder coming to us on all of our fires as it stands now, so that we will have 2 ladders there. You know, but in that case, we'll only have 1, because you know, we already have all of our mutual aid communities coming to us to help us out because we're so short-handed, and we're providing aid, you know, respectively back to them. And so everybody is kind of tapping each other's resources as much as we can. And like I said, we had Sterling and Holden covering for us when our ladder was out of service, and right now we're covering for Clinton. Rutland's ladder just went out of service again. It's literally, you hope 3 out of 5 are available and working, and you just do the best you can with what you have.
So for non-technical explanation,
Sure.
What do you need the ladder truck for?
So we use the ladder.
As opposed to other trucks?
Yeah, so the ladder is a very unique vehicle because it provides us access to high areas, balconies, rooftops, chimneys, all the areas that you either can't reach just by length and proximity from the ground with a ground ladder, or areas that are not accessible by ladder, so say a chimney that comes up out of a roof. There's no way to get a ladder up on it, or perhaps it's not stable. When we're operating at big fires, you see the water coming out of the tips of the ladder, spraying in on that high angle view, spraying down on it. It's an angle that we can't get from the ground with using streams from down there. So it affords us a whole bunch of things, you know, rescuing people off of balconies, venting holes in roofs to let smoke and heat out during fires. So there is a, you know, vast array of specialty operations that the ladder trucks provide for us. I hope that
And-
answers your question.
Well, so what happens if you don't have one? So let's say 2 out of 5 are operating and the 2 are busy. What happens?
So, like I said, right now, we have Sterling coming to help us, so it's gonna be a delay in them getting here just because of the travel time. And if we need another one, we have to go at least 2 towns away to get another one. So,
Response time is the,
response time is huge, because, yeah, we're getting engines from all of our surrounding communities to help backfill all those other positions that, you know, back 30 or 40 years ago, West Boylston had a firefighting roster of about, 50 active call members. Currently, we have 3 to 5. It's just, but we're not unique. This is a trend across the country, statewide, nationally. It's, people aren't getting into the call firefighter side of things like they used to. So we're trying to augment that with full-time people now to meet the needs of the community.
okay.
What's the frequency of those kinds of fires where you have to use an aerial ladder?
So this has been a particularly busy winter because of the weather. Most of our fires have been heating related, chimney fires that are extended. So, it's, a couple of fires a week in the area. Like we had a fire today, but we didn't need a ladder truck because it was on the side of a house. And we actually, I'll give them credit, one of our water department members saw smoke coming from someone's house today, stopped and was able to extinguish the fire and notify the people that were inside of it. So that was Rob Lopez, so give him a lot of credit for that. But, the other night, Sterling had a chimney fire. Rutland had a building fire the other day. Lancaster had a building fire with a person trapped inside the other night. It's just been every few days we're going to fires. Now, our ladder isn't going to all of them, it's going to some of them, but, some ladders are usually, we're sending an engine when they need an engine, we send a ladder when they need a ladder. I believe last year we went to a little over 40 fires last year as a department.
And you said the costs doubled basically in the last 15 years, so it's
Yeah.
not like these prices are gonna go.
They're not going
Down.
down, yeah. So the tower truck that we bought when I was in Southborough, we purchased it in 2010, and it was $1 million. And now the same truck is about 2.3 million.
Of those 40 fires, did you deploy the ladder truck?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I had attached pictures with the presentation I think I sent you of our ladder at a commercial building fire in Clinton. I'm trying to remember where the other ones were, but,
So the 40 includes basically all of your
40 is all of our
response?
fires, yep.
Yeah.
So about how many of those included the ladder truck?
So, so the ladder responds to more than that, but for working fires, we had 40, and our ladder was probably at, I would guess, 8 or 10 of them. But, then there's other calls, like, you might have smoke in the building, like at 184 West Boylston Street. Last year, we had smoke in the building. It ended up being a burned up HVAC motor on a rooftop unit. But to get up there and investigate it, you need the ladder to get up there. We had a similar event at Curtis Industries over on Hartwell Street. Same thing, ladder up on the roof, crews checking it out. So it's just, it's a combination of, gaining access to these difficult places that you otherwise couldn't get to, to safely navigate, so.
What will happen to the 30-year-old truck?
The 30-year-old truck we will trade in, and then they will try to auction it. Oftentimes, they go to either very small rural communities that have like all volunteer departments, literally no money. So a lot of them get donated. Some of them go to developing countries. So you'll see a lot of our ambulances and our fire trucks in countries that are just coming up. You'll see them in Haiti, Dominican Republic, a lot of the Central American countries. So it's our retired apparatus from here they ship them down there and keep them going as long as they can.
So we're having trouble getting parts in America for this truck now, and you're sending it to Haiti.
Yeah, good luck for them. Yeah, I don't
We're
know
not
what,
here sending it.
I don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
We were trying to source parts out of the Midwest, and, you know, they were scheduled to be here a certain day, and then because of weather and the trucking got all messed up, they weren't able to get the parts for like 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then they would try them, and they're like, oh, that's not it either. And they were head scratching, they had engineers involved, and they're like, it's old, it's hard to get parts, and we don't know what's wrong with it yet. And finally, they were able to figure it out, so.
So, Chief, on this one, I assume it's obvious to you, but just so you hear the words, this is well beyond what can be funded out of the capital investment fund.
Okay.
So it would have to be a debt exclusion article. Have you had that discussion with Carter?
No, we didn't go over exactly where funding sources were gonna come from, and I certainly would rely on your expertise as a committee, as being the finance committee of the town, to understand where it's best to resource funding from for any of these projects. So I would, ask your counsel on where things like that should come from, certainly.
Well, you just got it.
Yeah, I will take it, yeah.
No, unless you can find a grant.
So we've tried grants, we've been working, so unfortunately, and just to, to address that, so apparatus grants are very difficult to get, obviously, because it's typically one of the bigger ticketed items that all fire departments need. We were very fortunate with our situation to be able to get that Assistance to Firefighters grant a couple of years ago. That truck is scheduled to come to us in April, so we'll hope that there's no further delays, but we should be seeing it this year, just in time for brush fire season, hopefully. So, but with AFG, when you get awarded these big ticketed items on grants, typically you go in a holding pattern for a while, and it's competitive grant. So depending on what your need is, we were lucky because the equipment I was replacing with that grant was a truck from 1975 and one from 1985, and we were replacing two with one. That's a very compelling story and meets all their grading criteria for the age of the vehicles. As these vehicles, those were 40 and 50-year-old trucks. This one's 30 years old, and it wouldn't score high enough to be eligible for one of those grants, because believe it or not, there are towns in worse condition, and some, like I said, some of those very small rural communities throughout the country, have an even greater need than we do when it comes to that stuff, so.
Okay. Mark?
Are there any sharing concepts, like you say, we're covering Clinton, is it like maybe we are in the responding range to halfway through Clinton, and then the other half, wherever can respond to the other half?
So
and share the cost?
those come down to the running card for the particular community. Like I said, we are already tapping every single resource around us. So we are using any building fire in this town. We literally have every community around us, and then we get a cover company to cover our station for any additional calls from Shrewsbury. That's on our first alarm. So on our first alarm, we have Holden, Clinton, Sterling, Boylston, all coming. Our second alarm, out a second town, we're getting Rutland, Worcester. We're getting an engine and a ladder from Worcester. That Shrewsbury truck from coverage. Northborough is coming to cover.
I wasn't so much concerned, I was more asking if Clinton, they're probably not getting a new truck, but you two together, would that make affording a truck better? And then you'd say that this is a shared resource.
That would be outside of my.
That's what I mean, I don't know if
fire
there's any
chief. I can
concepts.
only speak for the town of West Boylston. I wouldn't think that Clinton would want to share with us necessarily. They are letting us utilize their resource when we need it, and inversely, we do it for them. But I don't know of any communities that are like sharing trucks.
And I mean, it would be a harder thing with maintenance and things like that after you even just get the truck.
That's it.
How
Right.
would you-
And then who you put on it, their people, our people, like it is. So unfortunately, each town is kind of redundancy because of events like that. It's not uncommon for us to have one or two ladder trucks or contiguous group of communities to be out of service at any given time. So,
Had to ask.
yeah, no, that's a good question.
Shall we move on? Any other questions about the ladder truck?
I do have one quick one. So, 5 years ago, we spent $150,000 on this truck.
Yeah. I reduced it to 100.
Oh, it was only 100?
Yeah, because I didn't want to do the body work, because I really didn't see the return on investment for that, so
Okay.
the other 50 we reappropriated to purchase the Polaris Ranger, the side-by-side.
Side by side, okay, okay. Rutland's had ladder truck maintenance issues, Clinton's had, how old are their trucks? I mean, I guess my concern, that's one question is, are we looking at a 5-year horizon where we can be pretty much maintenance-free or save that $20,000 a year that we just incurred on that? That's one question. The other question is, would this new $1.8 million truck fit in the current barn?
It does fit in the station. It is basically equivalent in size to the one we have now. I think it's 1.5 feet longer, but it also has a 25-foot longer ladder. Because as projects like 92 North Main Street come up, the Super Walmart that's going in, the 3 multi-story buildings that are going in at Jake's Cafe, our height and our reach is becoming taxed further and further and further. And so it's a 75-foot ladder doesn't make sense for this community anymore, and it's not that much more to go from a 75 to 100.
Mm-hmm.
So the 100-foot ladder makes sense, and what they do is they put another section of ladder inside that same bed. So essentially the truck's the same length, it's just got another fly of ladder inside of it. So we are getting a little bit more usable truck than what we currently have, but you know, that's kind of where that's at. And to the first part of your question, how long should we expect it to be, you know, essentially maintenance-free? That's like any vehicle. You sometimes have bugs when you first get it. You work through those kinks, but it's mostly covered under warranty. And then for your first, you know, period of time, and I would guess that you're probably talking 5 years for a set of batteries, probably, you know, 7 years for a set of tires and maybe some brakes.
Yep.
But
Okay.
you shouldn't be getting into any major overhaul caliber repairs until you start hitting those closer to end-of-life benchmarks, the 15 years, 20 years, 25 years. And historically, I think most of the communities in our area are maintaining their ladder trucks 20, 25, 30 years, and engines 15 to 20 years.
And then as far as personnel goes, is there gonna be a learning curve for this type of a vehicle? I mean, it sounds like it's got a lot more features than the current truck. I mean, certainly an additional ladder.
So it's really similar in nature. The operating controls sometimes are a little bit different configuration, but it's kind of like getting a new car. Your windshield wipers and headlights might be on the other side or something. Your mirror controls might be in the middle or on the door. But really, it's not much more than that. The general operation hasn't changed in a very long time. It's a hydraulic outrigger system, just like a crane or a bucket truck would have. The aerial is hydraulically operated, 3 control functions. It's got a water pump on it, a water tank, hoses, just like all of our other trucks do. So it's really not that different.
Same size tank as the one you have now, or is it a little
So
larger?
it's about the same. It's a little bit bigger. It's a 500-gallon tank, 1,500 gallon a minute water pump. It's got, you know, hand lines on it, because the ladder, we get it with a pump and a tank because it becomes our third engine when we need it. And so when one of our 2 engines go out of service, it becomes that backup.
Okay, yep, gotcha.
So.
Thanks. Mark?
Is there always a purchase option, or are there companies that would like give you a lease and then handle the maintenance for you?
So they do leases. I don't know how much they cover on maintenance, but they're a lease to own. So like Greenwood, which is the company that we do a lot of business with, they have a 7-year lease, but it's a financing program. So you're going to pay interest on top of, you know, whatever the principal is. So. not many departments, because because it has an intrinsic value and a value to the community, that most don't lease them unless they turn them over really quickly. So most towns are still purchasing.
Well, it's an interesting option you put out there, but if you think through the numbers, if it's a 7-year lease, you're probably still talking 300,000.
The reason I bring it up is
a
because
year.
With interest, yeah, I would think
where
so.
I used to be, we would lease our trucks because we just drove them to death. You know, so you get to the end of, I think they were 5 years, and they're ready, they're like, at 4 years, they're buying a new truck and getting it ready for you, outfitting it, getting the box, getting it all ready. And so you always have this steady flow of valuable or useful trucks. And it seems like this would be a nice situation to be in for fire apparatus also.
Yeah, we don't turn them over that fast, you know, and I think if you look at the cost of them.
No, it wasn't cheap.
Probably a good thing, because at least, you know, it may cost a significant amount once, but we keep them for a long time.
Yeah.
If we were replacing them every few years, like, you would probably all kill me if I came back in 5 years and said, now I need $2.5 million for a ladder truck. So.
I like the concept, but I don't think it functions for us. We're paying a finance cost for something we're gonna acquire anyways, so.
Right, no, I didn't know if there was a business that had made this work.
There is. It's just a lot of places don't use it because it's not always the most viable option.
Good.
Just another mouth to feed in the process. Okay, Chief, architectural design, next up.
Yeah, so this one, I put in as a place saver. Obviously, Ray, you're on the other committee with me, one of the other committees, in which we are tasked with currently doing the space needs and feasibility study that the town had funded for DPW and fire in 2024. The contract was awarded. We've been working with the architectural firm to establish the space needs for DPW and fire buildings, as well as feasibility of several different locations in town, and vetting through that process. So we are well underway with that. We've been meeting about every other week for a couple of months now, and we're making some headway. We still have a few more items to identify before we can narrow down our final candidates on a location and on a building model, whether it's going to be a shared facility or 2 separate facilities. So we should hopefully have those answers soon. The architectural firm is really pushing to have a substantial completion of that project sometime in March, so that we have time before town meeting to prepare and advertise and actually have some type of tangible numbers to work with. So I put in a space saver of $1.5 million. That should be in the ballpark of what it's likely going to cost us based upon other projects that are going on in the area that are similar in scope and type. The hard part is I don't have an actual quote for it at the moment, and it's really gonna come down to, I don't wanna say come down to the wire, but it's somewhere between now and a couple weeks or a few weeks before town meeting that we should actually have that number. They are well aware that we're looking for that number, but you know, there's a couple of different options that we're still juggling with. So that one, and I'm representing both the fire department and the DPW in this process with this request.
That's both buildings at one.
That again, it could potentially be both together or 2 separate, and we don't know how that dynamic plays out when it comes to cost of architectural design.
Gotcha.
So I'm hoping that, I believe Boylston's fire station was 1.1, and so I'm thinking the 1.5 should definitely cover, we would think, the joint, and potentially if we could hire one architectural firm and kind of let them know the scope, to be like, even if it's 2 of them, let's get it done for, you know, within this price bracket. So, so that's where we're at with that. So unfortunately, I can't present you with a firm quote on that right now.
Yeah, so Chief and I were in the same meeting earlier, we pressed them as heavily as possible for a guesstimate on building cost, and it's 30 to 40 million-ish.
Yeah.
For both.
Now,
For both?
For both.
combined, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what's unclear, I know historically for building construction projects, I've heard 10% is the architectural costs. So it could be more than twice this, but we don't know, and they will have to give us an estimate of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But just so everyone's prepared, I think this number is gonna go up considerably. Does it go up to 4 million? Hopefully not, but, you know, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not anticipating that. I know, I've spoken with, some of the people in Holden, more on their DPW building. Like I said, Boylston's fire department, our fire department when I was in Southborough, which it was several years ago now, but, you know, I think we're in the ballpark of, good, but again, until we have that quote, we really just can't say for sure.
Yeah, but I think we'll get that number reasonably soon.
Yeah.
Because they know we have to start laying the groundwork, so they're gonna have to give us something to work with. Right.
There's no decision though on whether to do it together or a different location.
It's the question of the hour.
Yeah, certainly.
Right, and part of that is the fire department really can't go too far afield.
Yeah.
Whereas the DPW is perfectly willing to go just about anywhere.
Yeah, they're not bound to the time-sensitive response that the fire department and the ambulance are.
So the takeaway from today's meeting, they're gonna put together some rough numbers for the one location that we think would support a dual-purpose building, and then a separate quote for doing 2 in 2 locations. So, I don't know if we'll actually get a number at the meeting in 2 weeks, but we'll see.
I think even if they give us a range, it certainly gets us within the ballpark and closer than we are currently, so.
Yeah. Okay, last but not least, thermal imaging cameras.
So thermal imaging cameras, we had 2 of them fail this year. One of them is just, the case was broken, so the battery wouldn't stay in it. It is old and unsupported, but our vendor graciously found a used one in their junk pile and was able to put it back together in a different used case, and so it's working for us, it's in service. Another one was completely dead and antiquated and unsupported, so we're looking for 2 thermal imaging cameras, and combined cost, and I believe I sent you the quote from Firematic. It was $20,379. So we were asking for $20,000. I can absorb that small balance from the department, but we keep 2 thermal imaging cameras on each of the 2 engines and 2 on the ladder truck. So that way, any of your crews that are entering into a building where they can't see due to smoke will be able to navigate their way around, find victims, find where the fire is located, things like that, so.
So you have 6 total,
We have
all
6.
all operating currently?
We have 6 operating. We're at 5 right now because that one that was broken. So we're looking to replace the 2. The one that is currently working, but with the used case, just because it's unsupported for any future repairs, and then the one that broke, so, or
So-
it's just dead.
The others, would this be the same manufacturer?
Yeah, so these are, these FLIR, so FLIR brand, like you hear from all the infrared and law enforcement stuff, that company makes fire-rated thermal imaging cameras. They have several different models. This is the same model that we're using in one of the engines right now, so because they were bought at different times and through different vendors, we have kind of a mismatched set right now, and so this gets us to match with one of the sets we have. So we'll just have one that'll be different until that cycle comes around to replace those.
So do we have any clarity on when EOL will be on these things?
The end of life, so they don't have a hard end of life. They're not one of those things like the turnout gear and stuff where they say, you know, the NFPA recommendation is 10 years. We run them until they don't work
Oh,
anymore.
that's not my
So-
question, I'm sorry. A declared end of life from the manufacturer, as in when they stop supporting them.
Oh, it's whenever they decide to change product lines. And so the ones that we're replacing now are already beyond end of life. They no longer support them. That's why we can't get new parts. So Frankensteined one together for us. It's in perfect working condition. It looks fine. Everything functionally works on it. But if anything breaks on it at this point, they won't be able to fix it unless they happen to have the parts in the junk pile. And, like I said, the other one is just done. It was broken beyond repair.
Okay. Questions for anyone on the thermal cameras? Okay, I say budget is up next. We do not have a copy of your budget.
Really? It was all emailed out and it was sent to Carter, so you and Carter both should have had it. He had it, so,
When did you send it?
I don't know. It was a while ago, because I sent it ahead, because that was I had sent it with, I think with the capital, so let me just double check right now. Capital. I sent them to Carter and Leslie. Maybe I didn't send them to you. I thought we had sent everything ahead of time, though.
Okay, well, let's just take it on the fly then.
Certainly. All right, so, strange. So basically, our budget request this year is about $200,000 more than last year. Predominantly from step increases with the union contracted employees. That's the vast majority of it.
For step increases alone?
Step increases, and then the public safety headquarters purchase services had an increase of about $20,000 as well. So this year, well, to stick with the operating budget and the personnel, this year we're running about one pay period, we're projected to run about one pay period behind what was allocated. So we're gonna run somewhere in the vicinity of $45,000 to $55,000 short. The good news on the other side of that is, and as we had explained when we increased our staffing to cover both ambulances, is it generates more ambulance revenue. We're projected to bring in about $830,000 in ambulance revenue, which is significantly higher than what we brought in prior years. So we're gonna project to run a slight deficit in the salary and wages, but it's more than
What was that deficit then?
offset. So probably around $45,000 to $55,000 on salary and wages, and then, but like I said, on the ambulance revenues, they're up significantly, and we had only budgeted to appropriate $630,000 from ambulance revenues this year against the budget. So, and then another $95,000 comes out for the replacement of future ambulances. So with that, we should have about $100,000 or more of surplus ambulance revenue.
Now, for anybody who wants to look at it, the chief shared the ambulance receipt in detail with us, so that's in the SharePoint directory if you haven't had a chance to look at it. But I didn't think it talked about 800K in revenue. I just browsed it.
Yeah, it should be about 830 with,
829, 239.
there you go.
Wow.
Mark's got it right there.
That's right there. I have
Okay, yeah, so, So that's our Comstar collections. We also, have been applying for and been awarded, including this year, the MassCar CPE. It's a Medicare, Medicaid offset grant. And so for the last 3 years, I've gotten between $33,000 and $34,000 annually from that grant alone. So that money comes in. We do about $15,000 to $16,000 a year of ALS intercept fees to the town of Boylston and Lancaster, and a little bit to Clinton and Sterling and Holden. And then we also get that $16,000 from the Wachusett Ambulance Fund from the former Holden Hospital. So all of that combined, we're bringing in quite a significant amount, probably close to $900,000.
Okay, so we had a brief conversation last week. Are you in any position to talk about that back pay situation with the jail?
Sure. So we don't have any definitive answer right now, but so.
If you'd share the details.
Yeah,
with us.
absolutely. So some of the things that, that I had encountered when I first started here, particularly with the ambulance billing, was that, we have locations that we frequent. We go there very regularly. We've been to Briarwood probably 5 or 6 times today. They're out of one right now. This is like the 12th call today. So, Briarwood we go to all the time. Oakdale Rehab we go to all the time. Walmart we go to quite a bit. But one of the ones that we go to very frequently is 5 Pollux Tiverton, which is the jail, Worcester County House of Corrections and the Sheriff's Department. So I noticed on our monthly reports that we were having all these outstanding bills with a pickup location of Pollux Tiverton, Pollux Tiverton, Pollux Tiverton. I contacted the ambulance billing company. We use Comstar, which is one of the 2 major companies in the area. And, I was asking, I said, how come we're not collecting on any of these bills? And they said, well, we don't know. We send out the bills to the patients and, their addresses and whatnot. And I said, are you aware that that's the Worcester County Sheriff's Department and the jail? And they said, no, we just have it as a street address. It could be an apartment building for all they know. So at some point, the jail had an insurance carrier. They had switched companies, and that message hadn't gotten through. I don't know when that was, and I'm, scared to even ask, because we were essentially doing pro bono ambulance trips to the jail for an extended period of time, possibly years. And I don't have the answer to when that was, but it was prior to my tenure here. And so when I started here and I started going through the ambulance revenues, so the 3 years prior to my starting here, we were collecting consistently between $415,000 and $460,000 a year for those 3 years. And it kind of went up and down, and it was partially in COVID, so it wasn't consistently going up, it was kind of up and down. That was one that when we were looking at it, it's like we go there a lot. We probably do 100 to 150 calls a year there. And so, an average ambulance bill is, $1,800 to $2,000. So when you do some loose math on that, we're billing them quite a bit of money. Well, the bills had been going to the people's last known addresses. And typically, they're not the type of people that pay their bills. They're not home to receive their mail because they're incarcerated. And so we weren't getting paid for any of these trips. And once we figured that out, found out that they're now using insurance service that services the Department of Corrections and all the different jails and prisons. So then we started collecting regularly. So now we collect all of the trips that we're doing, a fraction of bill is. They're paying about what Medicare pays, which is about anywhere from $300 to $500 a trip that we're billing $1,800 to $2,000 on. So we're trying to find out legally if that's the maximum we're allowed to collect on, because they're in state custody, and if the state has any liability for those medical bills outside of what the insurance pays. So if that's the case, then I'm hoping to be able to start to bill the sheriff's department for the trip, and then we can either deduct what the insurance pays, or they can work it out with the insurance and get reimbursed what the insurance pays, but that we would be made whole. If it's like Medicare, we can't legally go after anything above what the federal government approves. So for anyone that's on Medicare, we bill, $1,800 or $2,000 for the trip. We collect $550 or whatever is allowable in their system, and that's all we can get. We can't go after the patient for anything else, so.
Doesn't the state have to approve reimbursement rates? I mean, I think there's, at the Beacon Hill level, there's some committee that goes through insurance rate setting and so forth, and I would think that would.
That's what we need to explore now,
Okay.
is that if they hold a liability for any expenses incurred by the inmates, then we would then be able to bill the sheriff's department for it. But as of right now, we're only collecting on what the insurance is paying. So for the 150+ thousand that we bill them, we collect about $40,000 annually.
Yeah, but I'm thinking that's probably state approved, that's all, I mean.
Would be my guess, but
Well,
we're trying to
typically you have to opt into that.
Right,
There has to
you
be
would
a
think.
contract between the provider and the
Yeah,
person being
exactly.
And the
served.
insurance company wanted to do a contract with us for those amounts, and I said absolutely
No,
not.
yeah, right.
I'm
good.
like, I am not going
So there
to
might be
agree
some
to that with you, because one, it's not my agreement with you on what you're gonna pay. That's between you and the sheriff's department. So I'm just trying to find out if the sheriff's department is liable for the balance of that invoice.
So there's really two separate things. One, you've got billings that never issued that you may be able to submit.
We cannot. They all, no, they are all lapsed. And so typically with any insurance carrier, the bill, it's a 90 to 120 day window from the date of event to the date of filing the claim.
But is
So,
it required of them to notify you of a change in carrier?
I don't know, that was prior to my tenure here. And now that's going
I
back
think it's a
over
requirement.
4 years.
So
So-
you may want to see if there's any proof of notification.
Yeah.
So that may change the whole situation.
Yeah, but so we're collecting something. It's better than what we were collecting, but it's certainly not what I think we should be collecting on. So we bill out annually over $2.5 million in ambulance invoices, and we're taking in about 800,000 or so now. So but again, over $750,000 of that is Medicare patients, and that there's nothing we can do with.
Welcome to the fantastic world of cost to charge ratio.
So, the good news is we are collecting in the 90 percentile of what we are allowed to bill on and collect on, according to Comstar. So, for what we are billing out, we're taking in what appears to be the lion's share of what we're allowed to collect. So I don't anticipate those numbers getting significantly higher unless we find some opportunities that, that we can open up. Like I said, that'd be over $100,000 just from the sheriff's department, if we could build that. But I don't know that we can, so.
Good luck.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep working on it.
So any questions for the
Yeah,
chief?
so
on
some time
number?
ago, we had a significant increase in the base wage because of turnover.
Yeah.
So is that resolved?
I had a resignation today, unfortunately, but it's the first one in quite a while. That has significantly improved. We have 12 full-time employees at the fire department. We have 3 groups. They work 24-hour shifts. They cover 6 of the 7 days a week. But because we don't have anybody on Saturday, enough personnel assigned for Saturdays, it typically goes to overtime to fill those positions. We have to fill person for person when people take benefit time off to maintain our staffing. And so, we are running a very high overtime percentage of, you know, so, because they work an incredible amount of hours. Most departments are working a 42-hour work week. Our staff is working a 48 plus mandatory overtime. So they're often working 60, 70, 80. Sometimes they're doing 96 hours consecutive. It depends on what we have for vacancies and who we can get to work. So they're really doing a great job with meeting the service needs of the town with what they have for resources and personnel available. Like I said, they haven't stopped all day today. This is probably the 12th call.
This hasn't turned
They've
into
just
a
been going.
competitive spiral though, where the wages are
No, so
spiraling upward.
we are right there in line, and that was the wage proposal with the last contract, was to bring us into alignment with our comp communities. So Sterling, Westminster, and Rutland are the comps that we typically use, and we are right in the middle of those communities. So the good news is it stopped people from leaving for other opportunities or slightly higher wages. And, you know, with the people we've been able to bring in some experienced people, some older, more mature people, it's really toned down some of the angst in the department. Morale has been excellent. Everybody's been doing a great job. And it's really changed the entire demeanor over there, so.
So the 45K shortfall, is that largely overtime wages?
Yeah, so we have one member that was deployed in July. He was expecting his 20-year notice for military service, and instead got another 400-day order to deploy overseas. So he has been in the Middle East since July. This is his third tour, and shortly after getting his orders, he got his 20-year letter saying, "Congratulations, now you can retire once you no longer have active duty orders." So we are hoping he comes back in one piece, you know, May, June, July, somewhere around there. His orders do carry him into like August, September, but typically it's a 9-month deployment, 9-ish. So he doesn't have any actual return date, but, you know, based on kind of the norms, we're hoping he comes back in May or June. But because we have to fill every one of his shifts, and largely with overtime, that's created a challenge. We had some disciplinary issues where people were suspended, and we had to pay people to work their shifts. And so, you know, we would save on the base wage by having them out, but then we would have to pay somebody overtime to work for them. And then, of course, events like, you know, storms, where we have to put on extra personnel, and recalls, you know, with car accidents and fires, keeping us very busy this year. The overtime has just been up.
And there's no temp agencies for firefighters, right?
Now, we have a per diem staff, and we've actually been very successful this year with hiring per diem employees, and particularly paramedics. And so for the people that have been around for the last few years, we have had a desperate need for paramedics. And luckily, we've been able to plug some of those gaps by fixing the wage scale. We hired some very experienced, seasoned paramedics that have been wonderful. We are losing an experienced paramedic with the notice I got today. But I think we're gonna be in a good position to attract somebody to come in of similar type. So we're optimistic for that, so. But, yeah, and then, like I said, now with our staffing configuration, both ambulances have been staffed regularly. The tangible proof to that is the increase in ambulance revenues that are coming in, and the most important part of that is the service to the community. We are, you know, multiple calls at the same time, and we have multiple resources out there, you know, taking care of people. So it's been a huge relief for me. You know, my hair's not gonna grow back, and I'm not gonna get any younger, but I will tell you that my stress level and anxiety goes down now, you know, knowing that we have people responding to the calls. It was very difficult when the tones would go off and you're like, we don't have anybody. I have nobody to send. A truck in the garage and nobody to get on it. So, you know, my first few years here were extremely trying. And we're starting to make progress to repairing that, so.
Okay. Other questions? Mention per diem.
Yep.
What's the difference between per diem and call people?
So per diem people, work shifts, so
The
they
whole
can
shift.
work, yeah, in the, like in the absence of a full-time employee, when, you know, when it's permissed within the union contract, we can backfill some of those shifts with per diem members that just get a straight wage. And then, like the Saturday shifts, we try to fill those with per diems first, but when we can't get enough per diems, then we have to backfill it with overtime personnel.
And when do call people?
So the call people are people that don't work shifts, they just come when they're needed. So like the Barakian brothers, they, you know, and Bob O'Connell, they have other commitments that don't afford them the opportunity to work shifts. So, you know, one is light department director in a neighboring community, one is a full-time employee for the town that has on-call responsibilities for his regular job. You know, the other one is a retiree, but we have him doing fire prevention 30 hours a week already. So he, you know, he doesn't really have the time to work shifts in addition to.
But when a call comes in, he finds out.
But
or
when
they
a
find
call
out.
comes in, those guys show up, yeah. And so, so there's a tremendous value for them, you know, a tremendous value for us to have them. Unfortunately, there's just not a lot of new people coming into those roles. We were fortunate this year that we were able to pick up two. One is the son of one of our full-time members, and another one is a school teacher who's looking for a second opportunity and had always been interested in the fire service. And he just notified me today that he has graduated from the fire academy as of today. So he will be coming on as a certified firefighter, you know, starting next week. So not in a full-time capacity, in an on-call capacity, but, you know, he's been going to the fire academy for the last 6 months. And it's a tremendous amount of commitment. It's a 300 and something hour program, nights and weekends, to get these people trained. So give him a ton of credit as a full-time school teacher to commit his nights and weekends to learn this new craft. So his plan is when he retires from teaching sometime this year, that he will, I think at the end of the school year, he's gonna try to endeavor into the fire service for a little bit. So.
Cool. All right, anybody else? We good? Chief, thanks so much for coming, and as we've mentioned in the past, we really appreciate all the grant money that you've brought in. It's
So
tremendous
with
benefit.
that, you know, some of our annual grants, and obviously I had outlined some of them there, but we just got awarded $15,500 from the Department of Fire Service for firefighter safety and equipment. In years past, we had bought things like a water rescue boat, water and ice rescue suits, radios that communicate with all the towns around us. This year, we're purchasing brush fire gear to replace the stuff that we have now. So most of our gear is from the late 90s and early 2000s. So that's a high priority because it's so far beyond its NFPA date. So we're gonna get, you know, almost $16,000 worth of new brush fire gear for all the personnel. The EMPG hasn't come out yet because of the budget stuff going on at the federal level. That one, we typically get $2,700. They did a 10% reduction, or a small reduction. We only lost $90 with it, but they haven't sent out the notice of funding opportunity yet. We were denied the SAFER grant through AFG, which is to add additional personnel, and the federal government splits the cost of wages for up to 3 years with that. So last year, I think, was the 4th consecutive year that we've been denied the personnel grant. The good news is the big AFG grants that we did get, as I alluded to earlier, we're expecting that $550,000 tanker truck to arrive in April. The cabin chassis has already been delivered from Kenworth Trucks down to Louisiana to Fouts Brothers, where they're manufacturing the body, and that's on schedule for this April. And then the $250,000 worth of firefighting air packs, the breathing packs, we took delivery of those this summer. And so those are all in service, and it took both of those items off of our capital replacement. So, you know, there was $750,000 in capital that we were able to shift the burden to to the federal government for. But again, that has us on the unofficial hold list for a little bit, for any big items.
Does that impact the SAFER grant as well, or is it just, it does?
It does, they're both through AFG, and so one is personnel and one is equipment.
Yeah, but I was just wondering if you're seeing more competition at
Yeah.
those, at that level, certainly on the SAFER side for, staffing.
Yeah, and the SAFER grant was really, really funny this year. The notice of funding opportunity came out late. The window had closed, and then they did one round of awards, and typically they'll do 3 or 4. And they usually come out like every Friday for about a month. They came out one time, and then the government shut down. And so there was the $1 million question you couldn't even get an answer to because none of the government employees were working. And so it took a couple of months to get the answer, but I had reached out to our liaison to see, if more rounds were coming out, and they didn't. They dumped it all in one shot, and that was the end of it. There wasn't subsequent rounds of awards after that. So we didn't get it, and it took a really long time to find out, and waiting and chomping at the bit to discover that they had already expended all the money in one round prior to the shutdown. So, so it is what it is. It's grants.
Thanks for your efforts.
They're nice when you get
Yeah.
them, but there is just no guarantee, unfortunately. So,
Appreciate all your efforts.
Yeah.
And we do have this program that is, in theory, free, that allows you to serve federal and state grants
Mhm.
that match the town and by some means that they weren't clear on.
And so, and just to touch on it, with Heather and Christina Padoni, they were really pushing to see if we could get like a legislative earmark, either federally or at the state level. And so we have an inquiry in on both of them. One was to try to get some money for the ladder truck, and then Jim McGovern's office just sent out an email today with a closing date of March 6th, for any legislative earmarks so he has a program through his office that they have money available for projects, so we're gonna look into that and see if that's something that we might be eligible for. So,
All right, please do.
yeah,
Thank you.
we're trying everything, squeezing pennies out of wherever we can, so.
All right, Chief, thanks so much.
All right, thank you,
Appreciate
your
your
time tonight.
time.
Thank you.
Okay, we are through the primary motivation for tonight, and it is getting late. So, were there any priority updates anyone has questions on or wanted to offer? So I'm thinking, considering the hour, maybe we just adjourn without completing the rest of the agenda?
Yeah.
Motion to
Anyone?
adjourn?
For that.
That's an answer.
Okay, I'll second that.
Great, so, we can get caught up on some of these other things.
And we're gonna meet again on March the.
March 5th, 6:30, as we did tonight.
Okay.
And that's police and
Make sure I have that.
DPW.
Make sure we have that.
And
Schools.
schools.
Oh,
So that will be a longer one.
right.
All right.
All right,
Second.
all those in favor of going home?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone.